Councilwoman Turner, you are live.
Thank you, Bryson. Good morning, everyone. I am Chair Sage Turner, and I'd like to welcome you to the August 17th Housing and Community Development Committee meeting. All council members and staff are participating virtually. For those of you out there with us today, welcome. To help the audience follow along, I'll state each section of the agenda aloud. We are streaming live on our Virtual Engagement Hub, and that is accessible through the Virtual Engagement Hub link on the front page of the city's website. We also have an option for the public to listen live by phone. You can do so by dialing 855-925-2801 and entering the code 9791. For today's meeting, we have the option for people to call in and comment live during the meeting as well. To call in and comment live, you'll use that same number, which is 855-925-2801, and the same meeting code, 9791. Your phone will be muted and you will hear the meeting live. Excuse me. At this point, callers will hear. For more options, please press star, and pressing star 3 will allow callers to continue to listen live and join a speaker queue. All callers will have 3 minutes to speak. As a general reminder, if you're attending the meeting today, if you could stay on mute when not speaking. If you have a comment or question, you can raise your hand or speak up, and I will get you in the queue. So I'm going to go through a roll call and introduce committee members and staff. So if you could just say present or here as I call your name. So Vice Mayor Shanika Smith.
Good morning.
Councilwoman Antoinette Mosley.
Good morning.
Assistant City Manager Kathy Ball.
Good morning.
Interim Community and Economic Development Director Nikki Reed.
Good morning.
And Community Development Program Director Paul D'Angelo.
Good morning, everyone.
Great, and I think I have everyone. If I missed you, please speak up. We'll have a couple other staff members jump in as we get on topics. So right away, we're going to start the agenda with item number 1, approval of the minutes. Were there any questions, comments, or changes to the minutes? And if not, may I get a motion?
So moved. Second.
Okay, and everything is virtual again, so we'll do a roll call vote. Vice Mayor Shanika Smith.
Aye.
Councilwoman Antoinette Mosley.
Aye.
Myself, aye. And the minutes have been approved. Thank you. All right, we're moving on to number 2 on the agenda, the community development and homeless updates. Every month, staff put together a great update. I encourage those of you listening at home to go onto the city's website and find it. There's a plethora of information regarding programs, rental assistance, projects in the queue, etc. Paul, did you have anything you wanted to share specifically from this update?
No, good morning, Councilwoman Turner, and good morning, everyone. Housing and Community Development Committee, Paul D'Angelo here with Community Development. Just wanted to point out, as always, we put these, not only do we email these updates out, but they are on our website under Community Development News and Updates. We've been revamping our website to make it more user-friendly, so hopefully easy to find. They are somewhat extensive, but lots going on, and we want to make sure that we're out answering any questions that might come up. The one thing I did want to point out with the struggle around the eviction information that was extended till October 3rd, that there is rental assistance out there, and page 8 of the CDBG COVID updates talk on page 8 about those those rental assistance avenues, whether it be 211, the state resources, or Buncombe County. There's information there on page 8 of those updates. I just want to make sure to let folks know there is several $1 million out there just in Buncombe County alone for rental assistance, and there's also state money available too. So trying to make sure we're sharing that information for everybody.
That's great. Loud and far. I know there's been some interest. I've been talking with some grassroots folks and initiatives to get out to churches and perhaps schools. And the goal is to really spread this word. So if you're listening at home and you find that document, please share it, send it to your friends. There is money available and there are people in need, and we need to do everything we can to connect those two. I was going to give a couple just kind of key points that I read in the update that I thought might be of interest and a little bit of a shout out. So with that first round of COVID funding, the city had gotten about $600,000. About 400 of it had gone to Pisgah and Homeward Bound. That money has since been exhausted and used, which is great. And it was able to help 112 households. And this is all in this update. I'm just calling out some of the great work and So there was another third round of COVID funding, which is approximately $900,000. This is about to be finalized, so it looks like Pisgah is poised to receive another $300,000 in rental assistance, and Homeward Bound potentially to receive $420,000. And the goal is to wrap that up this month, as I saw. And I did want to point out that when we talk about rental assistance, it also includes utility assistance. So if we're getting into back arrears and stuff, it can actually cover both. And like Paul said, I was going to kind of give a shout out about this rental assistance still being available. So those are all my comments about the update. And once again, great work, Paul and staff. Fellow Councilwoman, did you have any questions or comments? Okay. All right. Well, once again, you can find that update on the website. And we're going to keep moving. I know we have a short agenda today, but we are finished with this unless there's further discussion from anyone. Okay. We're moving on to item number 3, the Ashland Avenue update and the city-owned land moratorium. And we have Nikki Reed, our interim CED director, with us to give us this update.
Great. Good morning, everyone. I wanted to basically circle back with respect to the city-owned property on Ashland Avenue. This parcel was once a part of the urban renewal program of the East Riverside. And so we wanted to follow up. So a little bit of where we came and how we got here. So in October of 2020, the City Council passed a resolution that suspended the sale or change in zoning use of any city property acquired through urban renewal. That was one part. The second part was until further policy direction had been reviewed by the Reparations Commission. And the third part of that was there were 2 parcels that were exempted because of some existing conversations. One of the properties was the parcel in question here on Ashland Avenue, because at the time it was being reviewed for use for a potential affordable housing partnership with the Haywood Street congregation. So that was, again, that resolution was passed back in October 2020. The resolution went on to state that in the event that a transaction did not materialize with the specifically stated partners, then the properties would basically revert to that suspension of sale. And that was specifically called out in the resolution. So really just kind of circling the loop here today, we wanted to make it clear now that Haywood Street has formally withdrawn their request for affordable housing partnership for that site. And so to follow through with the resolution as it states, what that means is that this parcel on Ashland Avenue, about the 1 acre parcel there, will now formally revert into the moratorium, as we call it. So it will now become subject to that resolution. So no future or no sale will be considered until policy direction has been reviewed by the Reparations Commission. I also wanted the committee to know that I reached out to the city's legal department to try and understand if there were any specific action that the committee would need to take or that council would need to take. But given the fact that the resolution kind of set those steps in place, there's no formal action that's needed today. So just to restate, that Ashland Avenue property will now be subject to the suspension of sale, being that it's a city-owned property that came through an urban renewal program. And I'm happy to take any questions to that effect.
Is there any work being done on a land disposition policy for all of the land that we're calling the urban renewal land, or within that urban renewal inventory?
I think right where we last left it was that we had started by creating the map. And I think there's a link in the HCD updates that share the story map to really first identify all the parcels that came to the city's ownership via urban renewal. So that map now is complete and that is posted. What I understood is that we would allow for the establishment of the Reparations Commission and then define what work plan would be established for that commission. So I'm kind of letting that process unfold. And then at that point, we would engage and start those discussions on that policy. And Kathy, I don't know if you have anything to add there, but that was my understanding of how that would take place.
Yes, that's my understanding as well, that nothing will happen until the reparations committee is established and then a process is outlined. That's my understanding as well.
Does that include the office space, the buildings where we have office space too?
Can you expand on that a little bit, Antoinette?
I feel like you just asked me, could I speak up because you couldn't hear me because I couldn't hear you asking me, telling me you couldn't hear me. Would that include South Charlotte Street property as well?
Yes. So any property acquired through urban renewal that's on that map would be included in that.
For those of you listening at home, the link for the story map is fairly complicated just because it's in a GIS system, but you can Google Asheville urban renewal story map and find the link fairly quickly.
And Councilwoman Turner, it's also in our community development updates as well.
I was trying to scan to shout out where that was, but the updates are quite extensive. I ended up Googling. Any other questions about this or comments from committee members or staff? Okay. Well, that's really the only two items we have on our agenda today. It's been about 10 minutes. And, we had some other items on the agenda that we moved back into further months, and we had considered delaying the meeting. But some of these updates were so important, we wanted to make sure that the community got as much information as possible. So we do have one more item on the agenda, which is public comment. And Bryson, if you are available, can you tell me if we had any public comment or anyone calling in?
We do not have any public comments at this time.
Okay. And Kathy, while I have you, I know we had discussed having an update on the Ramada. Do we plan to do that in this committee meeting next month?
Yes.
Okay. So for those of you listening in, if you're looking for more information as the Ramada project potentially comes together, we'll be giving an update at this meeting next month. And that is Tuesday, September 21st, 10 a.m. to 12 noon. The agenda also has some future items that will be in the queue, so I'll just let you know in case you're tuning in. Asheville Area Habitat for Humanity, a housing trust fund loan. There's some garage conversion potential apartments coming up, more affordable housing. Some work with Homeward Bound on the Days Inn will begin to make progress. We'll have an updated 21-22 annual action plan. We'll have an update on a land use incentive grant potentially from the Charlotte Street. We've got down payment assistance coming up, strategic partnership funding, and I believe that is it. I do believe we did actually hear, I'll give this little shout out. We had we learned about the Housing Trust Fund Award, or the NCHFA Award. Paul, did you hear that one of the projects was awarded?
Yes, definitely. The awards came out last Friday, and with our home funding from HUD, one of our tax credits applications was awarded. Fairhaven Summit. Sean Brady is the developer. We reached out and congratulated him. And that will be 77 units of affordable housing within the city of Asheville limits.
That's great. Terrific news. All right, you all, that is all the updates I have for us. Any final comments or anything from the committee members before we adjourn?
Thank you, staff, for all you do, and enjoy your next 2 hours. We have free.
I know, it's nice. Nice to have a little break this month. Thank you, everyone. I appreciate your time today.
Thanks for that, Vice Mayor. Y'all have a great day.
You too.
Bye-bye.